Guys, what is up? Back at you once again. It is Chaboy, Chin, that freaking Mark. We had ourselves a Smackdown that was after a WrestleMania. Was it more eventful than a regular episode of Smackdown? Not really. So right off the bat, we have the New Day coming out to give us a good old celebration because Kofi Kingston is our new WWE champion. And what goes better with a celebration than Big E doing the splits? Hell yeah, so we get that one more time. And you know what? As soon as everything is going all well and dandy, Kofi's talking about how much he loves his fam and he's giving props. The bar comes out just to be a bunch of fucking cock blocks, and they're talking about how they want a 6-man tag match. And although it may seem like their math is off, it's not, because they made a friend at Raw last night, and that friend was Drew McIntyre. So yeah, that's definitely going to be set to be our main event for the night. Next up, we have a 6-man tag match. It's going to be Aleister Black, Ricochet, and Mustafa Ali versus Rusev, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Andrade Cien Almas, calling people by their full names still. It was a pretty good match. I'd say the funnest spot of the entire match wasn't even a wrestling move. It was when we had like the three amigos sitting in the middle of the ring there. It was fun for sure. Match ended pretty quickly with Mustafa Ali getting a 450, but guess what we get right after the match? Yup, dick move, an RKO out of nowhere. Nobody fucking asked for that, but in reality it was really just some build for the Superstar Shakeup next week, because immediately following that we have Kevin Owens coming out and delivering a stunner just for the fuck of it, and he did the same exact thing that Randy Orton did. Got in, got right back out. So next up we have R-Truth and Carmella come out, and what is just a great R-Truth and Carmella segment. R-Truth has given Carmella props for beating Andre the Giant himself. And as soon as things are going just all too well and dandy, Samoa Joe comes out just to bring us back down to reality. And he just kind of gets in a little scuffle with R-Truth, because remember, that is who he got his U.S. championship from in the first place. He just kind of brings the whoop into R-Truth for a minute there, gets on the mic to remind us that he kicked Rey Mysterio's ass in less than a minute, and is like, yo, none of you motherfuckers got shit on this here Samoa Joe. And then Braun Strowman comes out to kick an ass, because Braun Strowman can put up a pretty good argument, I would have to say so. And yeah, they just kind of brawled for a minute, things played out, and then the IKonics came out. They wanted to do like a fist bump or a handshake with Strowman there. It didn't really go so well. I wouldn't have expected it to. And then next up, we do have the IKonics coming out, cutting a promo, talking about how once people win championship belts, they just really love throwing around the term fighting champion. So rather than talk about it, they're going to prove it. And they bring out the best tag team in all of Brooklyn. Best tag team in all of Brooklyn. And you know what? Nobody could get their names right, and that was the joke of this entire match. Corey Graves just kept calling them two different chick names every time. It was Lisa and Carmen Sandiego. It was Jenna and Noelle. It was frickin' Sam and another chick named Sam. I don't fucking know, okay? The IKonics win in pretty short fashion. It was kind of hilarious. But at one point during the match, they showed Paige watching. And after the match, they interview Paige, and they're just like, hey, Paige, what's up with you being back here on SmackDown? Why are you checking things out? And Paige is just like, I'm checking things out because next week I'm going to bring my own tag team. So what the fuck does that mean? You know, in hindsight, I probably should have gave this entire segment the dick move of the night, but whatever. Already happened. Shane McMahon comes out, and he's cutting a promo with his big old black eye, and actually, he's saying he got that big old black eye from Mr. Miz, the fucking bully himself, who came into the ring. Shane felt threatened, basically. And speaking of threatening people, Shane's like, yo, Greg, get all up in the ring. What's up with you not saying my entrance properly? And Greg's like, to be honest with you, Shane, people have threatened mean things at me if I don't not say that. So I didn't really enunciate tonight. And Shane grabs this little bastard by the tie, and he's like, listen, motherfucker, I'm going to drag your ass all the way up the entrance ramp by the tie, and you better say my name right. Yeah, he dragged him up, kind of being a bit of an asshole. He finally said his name to Shane's standards, and then he's just like, okay, cool. Now that you've announced me properly, I'm going to bounce. Ass. Next up, we have the match that we all wanted at WrestleMania, but still got regardless. We have the Usos versus the Hardys to determine who's going to be the best tag team of all time. In space, it's the Hardy Boys, because the Hardy Boys are the fucking bee's knees. That's really hard to say, though, because the Usos are like my current favorite tag team, and the Hardy Boys are like my growing up watching favorite wrestling tag team. But yeah, either way, the Hardy Boys win, get their final form of tag team belts that they hadn't put their hands on. That's probably why they did that, in all honesty. But yeah, it was great. Matt went over to the side, said what's up to Maxwell and the fam. Yeah, all is well. Next up, we have Becky Lynch coming out to cut a promo, getting all that applause, and basically just to talk about how Lacey Evans had some nerve to come out and start punch-a-sizing her last night. And then, guess what happens? As Becky's leaving, getting some more of that praise, Lacey Evans comes out and just fucking drops a haymaker on her. Probably should have seen that one coming, Becky. You got two big old bullseyes anymore. But, yeah, again, they're just tossing Lacey Evans all up in the big picture of things. Hope she does all right with it. Next up, main event for the night. It is going to be the New Day versus The Bar with their new friend Drew McIntyre. And it was a good match. It was a match that was basically there to prove that New Day rocks. Before the match itself actually started, though, Sami Zayn came out because he returned last night. And he basically just showed up to remind us all that he is a big old heel. He was going to cut a promo, and then he's just like, y'all bitches ain't even worth it. Again, we had the match. Didn't last too terribly long. Trouble in Paradise for the win, and then it's just a big old celebration. Kofi Kingston brings the family in, brings the wife. Everyone's good and happy. No heel turns. No real moves of dickishness. And honestly, it didn't even really feel like a SmackDown after Mania. I remember they said like last year that they were going to try and make that like just as big of a thing, but honestly it just felt like I was watching a regular old episode of SmackDown with a title change on it. And with that being said, here's my grading scale. How am I going to grade this on the scale that I have presented? In all honesty, seeing as how this is supposed to be like an above average episode of SmackDown, I'm just going to give it a dece. Like, I expected it to be a little more dope. I am glad that the Hardys got, like, the tag belts, because I love myself some Hardy Boys, but nothing much more eventful than that really happened. Holy shit, WrestleMania weekend and all of its events following are done. We have NXT tomorrow, but other than that, it has been your biggity boy, Chin, that freaking Mark, here, as always, talking about the graps. And you know what? We're just going to keep on keeping on. Check out all those reaction videos that I'll just put around here for you. And why don't you check out some crap graps? Because everyone loves themselves some crap graps. I almost said that good enough. Later, guys.